Today we're doing a much needed fall cleaning. Life has been super chaotic lately and this house is showing it. It's the first week of September, there's a chill in the air this morning, and I have a lighter schedule at work, so we are going to take advantage and give this house some much needed attention. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, your favorite fall themed beverage, and cozy up if you're just watching for the dopamine. And if you want some motivation, pop this on in the background and clean along with me. So clearly my house is in desperate need of some cleaning. This is our entryway and it's pretty chaotic in here right now. This connects right to our laundry room, and overall it's really not the vibe I'm wanting for anyone entering our house at the moment. So it is time to tackle this. Of course, Toulouse wants to sit on that bag, so I'm gonna let him have it. Yes, I'm a sucker. I always end up with so many cardboard boxes and pieces of trash around our house because our cats like to play in them. Also, we are propagating this little pineapple guy from our bromeliad plant, and I'm so stoked at how well it's doing. I'm gonna tidy everything first and then get some laundry going because there are so many loads to get through today, so I want to start that early. I honestly don't really love the look of this space, even when it's clean. I don't love that the entry to our home is our laundry room, and I do want to maybe do a few projects in here to make it look a little bit better, but for now, at the very least, it'll be way better if it's clean and tidy. This is our powder room and it's not looking too bad at the moment, so I'm just going to give it a quick tidy and clean up this sink area, and then I'll move on. If I have extra time, I plan to come back to it, but I've got so much to do elsewhere, so I want to move through here pretty quickly. Greg made a late night purchase of these little mushroom night lights, and I actually really love them. They're not my favorite color during daylight hours, but at night they light up with this really warm glow, and especially in the fall time, it's really beautiful and cozy. Something I try to do right before I fold a lot of laundry is clean the top of our washer and dryer. We have 2 cats, so things get pretty hairy pretty quickly around here, and that's the last thing that we want on our fresh, clean laundry. Speaking of cats, this is Toulouse, and one of his favorite places to sneak into is our dryer, particularly if it's full of clean, warm laundry. I know it's warm and toasty, but there's your clean clothes. Just washed all your hair off them. After doing that first load of laundry, I am realizing just how gross our washing machine is. So now that I've gotten a few loads going, I'm going to take a break and clean this machine. We have a top loader, so I just wipe the top, scrub the top of the drum, and that piece in the center. Then I'll run a load with washing machine cleaner in there on the hottest cycle. Alright, we're back. It's the next day. I got through some laundry, dishes, and just tidying up yesterday and started cleaning the bathroom, and that's kind of all I got to, which is fine. I started late. I started at 2:30 or 3, so I didn't have a ton of time. This morning I got up and went to the office and worked early, so I got started at work at 7:30, worked a half day. It's 11:45-ish right now. I just got home and changed, and I'm gonna eat lunch quick, and then I'm going to get into cleaning. I have a workout class at 3:30, and then my friend's coming over after, so busy day. I'm gonna try to get as much done as possible by 3:15 when I have to leave, and hopefully I'll get our house all sparkly and nice so that I can decorate for fall. All right, let's do it. I gotta do stuff, but we have this kind of ancient washer, and it's a little bit broken. The lid doesn't always sit right, and the sensor doesn't work great, so I actually have to sit on our washer to get the cycle to start after it fills up. So I got all of the basic tasks done in the kitchen, emptying and loading the dishwasher, tidying up, washing dishes, but this kitchen is so grimy and desperately needs a deep clean. I wasn't really planning on doing any real deep cleaning because I wanted to get the whole house generally pretty clean, but I could not move on past this kitchen without giving it a thorough scrubbing. Legitimately, every surface in this room is covered in grease and grime, and it was absolutely driving me crazy. So I decided to buckle down and give this room a thorough deep clean for fall. I'm trying a few different cleaners to see what takes the grease off best here. As always, don't mix your cleaners. I'm trying a few different things, but I'm rinsing in between. And then once I find what works best, I'm just sticking with one thing in each area. I am tackling this stovetop next, and something I like to do is remove the pieces from the top of my stove as well as the racks in my oven and soak them in hot water with a dishwasher pod for a couple of hours. This just makes cleaning so much easier to scrub off things that have been cooked on. We recently got this stove because our other one broke, so this is my first time having to soak these particular grates, which are a little bit larger than the ones on our previous oven. This was kind of a saga trying to find a container that was big enough. I ended up pulling out way too many before I found one that was way too large. I could have curled up in this thing. It was huge, but it works. I filled this up with super hot water and added 3 or 4 dishwasher pods in here. I'm not sure why I started this filling up from the sink. That's not what I normally do. I normally put it in the shower. Anyway, once I remembered, I did move it to the shower and it did just barely fit in there, and I finished filling it. It's just a lot less messy and easier, and then I can do other things while it's filling. I'm cleaning the inside of the microwave, so I've just put a bowl of water in there and heated it up so the steam starts to soften up any food splatters in there. And then I carefully use that boiling water and some soap to scrub everything down. We don't have a vent hood or any kind of downdraft in this kitchen, so whenever we do high heat cooking, we really get grease everywhere, especially if it's above or close to the stove. I am very grateful for the home that we have, but I can't wait for someday, eventually, when we have a kitchen with a vent hood. I dream of that kitchen. All right, just got back from my workout class. I'm deceased. I'm really tired. I haven't been in a week and we had a really hard class today, so feeling like a limp noodle, but I'm gonna check on the grates for the stove and try to get those on, and then try to finish a section and kind of button everything up, and then I'll hit it again tomorrow. This was supposed to be like a day and a half, 2-day thing. It's turning into a saga, but that's just how cleaning is, especially if your life is a mess and your house is really dirty, like me. So here's how the stovetop pieces are looking. It's a little hard to see on camera, but the dishwasher pods have definitely done their work on all this cooked on mess. I'm going in with a scrub brush and scrubbing the most obvious spots right in the container where they're soaking, and then I'll pop over to the sink and give them a thorough cleaning with dish soap. I let the oven racks soak for a little bit longer and they're looking pretty good now. You can see how all this cooked on stuff that's usually so hard to scrub is coming off pretty easily. Oven racks are something that can be such a pain to clean. Dishwasher pods help so much, but I also want to stay on top of it because this is the first time I've ever had a new oven. So I'm lucky to start with a blank slate, and it will be so much easier to keep these nice and new if I stay on top of it. Alright, it's yet another day, and I really want to get through this kitchen deep clean today. I didn't mean to spend so much time on one room, but sometimes it's just what's needed. Especially with kitchens, it can be such a time-consuming space to clean, but it's so worth it to have a clean, usable space to cook in. These windowsills are a space that just collects things, and everything on here gets super dirty and covered in grease, and it's really not great. So I'm gonna tackle this first. The last big thing in this kitchen is the light fixtures. They really need a good scrubbing. This glass is supposed to be clear and it's most definitely not right now. So I'm going to clean the fan and then remove the bulbs and the glass covers and give everything a good scrub with Dawn in the sink. When you're cleaning light fixtures, don't forget to check if the actual bulbs need cleaning. This is something I sometimes forget. They don't always, but especially here in the kitchen where there's grease in the air, these light bulbs also need a little love. Once I've got everything clean, I make sure to dry everything really well before reassembling, and voila, our lights are super clean and fresh again. The kitchen deep clean is finally over, and I can move on to the rest of the house. The only thing I didn't do is clean out the fridge, but honestly, I despise that job, and Greg doesn't mind it so much, so I'm gonna let him take that one. The life of a pet owner, just constantly picking up cat toys. This rug is a ruggable, so it's machine washable. I love my ruggables so much. With 2 cats and lots of messy hobbies, it's a must to be able to throw my rugs in the wash. It's been way too long since this dining room rug has been cleaned, so it is time. I'm going to vacuum it first just to get rid of any loose debris or pet hair, and then I'm taking the top layer off the base and tossing that in the washer. Last but not least, it's time to tackle our bedroom. Recently, my wedding ring fell behind all the books on this shelf, so I totally dismantled everything looking for it, and generally the rest of our room doesn't look much better. There's clothes everywhere, there's cat toys everywhere. It's super chaotic in here, and that's not the vibe we want when we're trying to sleep. Toulouse is super happy I let him in to hang out on our comfy bed. He's not usually allowed in here, but I let him hang with me for a little bit. He hates the vacuum, so I did have to ruin his day and force him to leave his comfy spot so that I could bring the noisy monster in to clean. I'm gonna tidy everything, give these bedside shelves a thorough clean, and then I'll give everything a dusting, vacuum, and change the sheets. I thought about also washing the duvet, but I didn't have a ton of time, so I decided to put that off for a little bit longer.
Just where it was needed, gleaming black as night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing, faces merge and change, but your face remains the same. Swallows will be here by dawn. When we're finally sober, they'll be gone. The trees will bloom and ice will melt. We'll always remember how it felt.
By this point, the rug is clean and dry, so it's time to put it back. It's been sitting on the dining room table until Greg and I were both free to take care of it. I think Zelda just thought this is how our table was going to be now and that she'd found a new cozy spot, so had to ruin that for her. I find that the easiest way to assemble a ruggable is to roll it up really neatly, make sure the back of the rug is facing out, and then lay it down and unroll it onto the base, smoothing out any wrinkles as you go. We misplaced this by like 1.5 inches, which is super frustrating. Definitely something I've done before. So we had to take it off and redo it, but we got there in the end. Now that the dining room has been put back together, I can put our freshly washed tablecloth back as well as our dining room table decor. I have this dried orange garland that I made last year for the holiday season, and I've actually been loving using it during spring and summer this year. Dried oranges can look so festive when they're paired with holiday decor, but I've also found they work really well in the warmer months when paired with more summery fabric or color schemes. I'll be swapping out this decor soon for something more autumnal, but for now, this works just fine. The last corner of our dining room that needs a refresh is our coffee nook. We thrifted this cabinet and made it our spot for all things tea and coffee, and I love that we have it, but it needs a little reworking. As you can see, it's gotten super cluttered, there's coffee grounds and stains everywhere. I'm gonna take everything out of here, stain treat and wash this curtain that I'm using as a little tablecloth of sorts here, wipe everything down and reorganize the top of this.
Just what it was needed, clean in the blackest night, cloistered in injustice dead. so